the night with the light from above.
All right, 5 minutes after 9 o'clock. It's time for Veterans News. Hank Whittier is in the studio.
We are here today. We're all here today. We got
there you go.
The usual crew of characters, and Bernie DeCastro is here, and I don't know who else. We got the door open, so who's telling we'll walk in with us,
Anybody's
right?
Anybody's
likely to walk in. The question is, will they stay?
That's
Probably
another
not.
question.
Probably not. Hey, listen, you know, we're going to do, because Bernie's got some things to talk about in a little while, but we're going to go ahead and do our casualty list. Is somebody on the line now?
I think that might be the sheriff's office. It looks like from the caller ID.
Okay, listen. Let me take the sheriff's guys first, and so they can go about and do their business. If that's okay with you guys.
I make sure I got it right.
Yeah, make sure you got it right.
Good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, you do. Terry Bavard from the sheriff's office.
Hey, Jerry. How you doing, guy?
Good morning, sir. And yourself?
Doing well. Doing well.
Good. We have three, unfortunately, and they are Leopoldo Chavez, who is a U.S. Border Patrol agent, was killed on July the 6th of 2012 during an ATV accident while on patrol. Agent Cavaza was 29 years old, served 6 years, and he is survived by his wife and 6 daughters. The other is Patrolman Christopher Reeves. Christopher was with the Millville Police Department out of New Jersey. His end of watch date was July 8th of 2012. Chris had served 8 years with the Millville Police Department. He was struck by a fleeing offender and in his vehicle and was killed, did not survive the crash. He is also a Marine Corps veteran and survived by his wife and son. And last we have is Brian Lorenzo. Brian was a police officer with the Philadelphia Police Department, 48 years old, had been there 23 years. He was killed by a drunk driver doing routine patrol work. He is also survived by his wife and 3 children.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Listen, while we're talking about casualties, how's our deputy that was hit by the car over in Denellen?
He's doing good. You know, they air flighted him out the night of the accident and the day of the accident and took him up the Shands, and he stayed for observation. But, you know, he's doing well. You know, just goes to show you just never know what the day's going to bring, but we expect him to come back and after a full recovery. Okay. But thank you for asking.
Okay, listen, you guys stay safe out there, okay?
Thank you, Hank.
Yeah, take care.
Bye-bye.
Alrighty, guys, why don't you go ahead and do yours?
We'll start off with some Army casualties. We got Corporal 1 P. Navarro, 23 of Austin, Texas. And he was assigned to the 1st Battalion, 23rd Infantry Regiment, 3rd Stryker Brigade Combat Team out of the 2nd Infantry Division, Joint Base Lewis McChord, Washington. We also have PFC Cody O. Mossman, 24 of Preston, Idaho, and he was with the 1st Battalion, 28th Infantry Regiment, 4th Infantry Brigade Combat Team out of the 1st Infantry Division out of Fort Riley, Kansas.
We also have Staff Sergeant Raul M. Guerrero, 37 of Union City, New Jersey. He was assigned to the 502nd Military Intelligence Battalion, the 201st Battlefield Surveillance Brigade out of Joint Base Lewis McChord, Washington.
Also, you have Army Casualty Specialist Jonathan Batista of Kendallin, New Jersey, died in Kandahar, Afghanistan. He was assigned to the 2nd Battalion, 321st Airborne Field Artillery Regiment, 4th Brigade Combat Team, 82nd Airborne Division out of Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Also is Army Captain Bruce A. McFarland of Oviedo, Florida, died July 6th in Kandahar area. McFarland was assigned to the 1186th Transportation Company, 831st Transportation Battalion out of Jacksonville, Florida.
Also, we have some airmen missing from the Vietnam War who have finally been identified. Air Force Colonel Joseph Cristiano of Rochester, New York. Colonel Darrell B. Jeffords of Florence, South Carolina. Lieutenant Colonel Dennis L. Ehlers of Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Chief Master Sergeant William K. Colwell of Glen Cove, New York. Chief Master Sergeant Arden K. Hassinger of Lebanon, Oregon. Chief Master Sergeant Larry C. Thornton of Idaho Falls, Idaho. They're with that group in a that was shot down AC-47D aircraft that was nicknamed Spooky. That rained that fire down on the enemy. It was shot down. It was a mayday signal, and they lost control, and the entire crew. They searched for it for many days, but it was unsuccessful. But they finally found it, and all those bodies have been identified.
Okay, that's it. Nobody local. Let me explain sometimes too that you may read in the newspaper or hear on the news that there's other casualties, but I kind of go by this list to just keep consistency. I don't believe those.
It's about a week behind.
Yeah,
too.
usually about a week behind. So I know a lot of times I get a phone call and people say, "Well, yeah, well, what about?" But they'll be honored and read the following week usually. If you have nobody local, Larry.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, we have already found. 'Twas grace that brought us safe thus far, and grace will lead us
All right, Larry. Thank you very much, bud. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, guys. Let's go. I know you got lots of announcements, or your usual announcements, your place to eat, all that stuff.
We don't care who our
Potato
sponsors are.
pies. Well, not this week. We don't. No, this week we don't care. We're in a no-care mood. And you know what? I'm going to be seeing one of them very shortly.
Very
so,
shortly, right?
yeah.
So he's not getting any credit, huh?
Yeah, it's Roberts, actually. I'm going to go see. Yeah.
But Steve was sitting right in last week, and you
I trashed him. I trashed him.
promised him you was going to continue on with the with the good stuff.
I said, yeah, but I wasn't saying good stuff about him. That was the whole problem. That's what he told us. Gee, Hank, I'm paying for the show and you're insulting me too. I mean,
What a deal, right?
Yeah,
What a
can't
deal,
beat
right?
that.
Robert's signed up for
well,
all
Bernie's
those
right.
years.
What would you expect? You came in. What would you expect? You know.
It was your first mistake.
You know, about every 3 months, I'm nice to somebody down in the office, and it shocks everybody. You know, just like just do
we
that.
don't know when that 3 months starts already.
You just missed it, John.
Oh, man. Thanks for the warning.
But that's probably a good thing. Before I forget, let's talk about Roberts and Roberts Funeral Home and Cemetery. Has been around an awful long time and doing a lot of good things for this community, and particularly in your hour of need and your hour of distress. Can't think of anything worse to go through, but it's worse to go through if you're not prepared and you don't do some pre-planning. So give Roberts a call. They're good people. They'll talk to you. They'll make things clear for you. They won't give you the hard sell, and when the time comes, they'll follow your wishes and take good care of you. And the other one, John, is?
It's Ford Lincoln of Ocala in Bellevue. And we got some great new cars and trucks out there. If you're in the market looking for them, go out there and see them. They got some great service. We can mention James Gurley, and they'll give you that usual great service, even though you know. You know, they have some great pre-owned cars and trucks, if that's what you're also looking for.
Yeah.
So
Well, they do. They're like
they do a lot of good work in our community, just like Roberts.
They do. I was going to say
We're going over to the Heart thing.
Heart Association meeting again today. We're going to be doing that. We're a big part of this group. Is a big part of that, and you know, we believe in it because they believe in it, and both Roberts and Steve Pelosi and Ford Lincoln of Ocala are just, again, they do a lot of things in the community. Everybody thinks, hey, they just make money and run with it, but that's not the case. And that's why I like to do business with them, because they give something back. There are a lot of people who don't give anything back. Those two folks do, so we appreciate them, really do.
They even helped us with a raffle of a car.
Yeah, we're talking about doing it again.
Okay.
We're talking about doing it again. I think Larry would look good in a convertible myself. Yeah.
Hair blowing in the breeze.
Yeah, well, yeah. Couldn't say that about our friend over there.
I had the top down and all blew off.
You had hair
That's
like
my story.
Yeah, you had hair like that at one time, didn't you, John?
Yeah, probably when I was about 10.
Besides Ford, Lincoln, and Roberts, and all of that, what else do we have, John? You got a cookout
we always,
going on?
We
or
always
something?
got some good food at VFW Post 4493 over in Candler. We do
Whereabouts
spaghetti.
exactly in Candler is that? Give them a little
Whereabouts?
direction.
It's right in downtown Candler.
The traffic light.
You can just go
You got the traffic light. That's a reference
Yeah, you just
point.
go
The
out
high school.
past, past Lake Weir going towards Oklaha, and you go past the traffic light and look to your right, and you'll see our sign and see all those cars in the lot. We have spaghetti dinners on Wednesday, every Wednesday from 4:30 to 6:30 or so, and we have fish fry night is on Friday. Same hours, same great food, and same great place.
Same great people.
The same great people.
Are you the host, the hostess, or what?
They
role
think
do
I
you
can.
play?
They think I'm a cook or so. I don't know what they really call me, but I probably don't want to know.
No, you don't
either.
want to know what they call you.
Well, Jack's always there to lead me on,
Yeah.
you know. So,
Yeah.
so if somebody else doesn't get a dig in,
Okay.
Jack, we
Nothing.
can always
How about
count
your
on Jack.
breakfast stuff down the other one?
Yeah, we had our breakfast for a while. We'll be coming up over at Post 284. We'll have our monthly breakfast on the 21st, which is next week, I think, right?
Yeah.
So,
while you're on,
we serve from 8 till 10.
Yeah.
And we have bingo there twice a week on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and that's how we do all those great things in the community. And want to give a thank you to the sheriff who transported our 11 Boy Staters from Denellen and the Ocala area up to Boy State, and they'll be coming back on the sheriff's van Saturday, and they probably turned them into some really knowledgeable. Before they go, they're sort of quiet and soft-spoken. And when they come back, they know a whole bunch of stuff. So they've really become good citizens. So it's a great
You're trying
program.
to say they're
for
like
them.
a lot of politicians. They know everything. Is that what you're
Well, I'm
trying to
not
say?
too
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
about.
Well,
They know
tell us.
everything, but
Some of
they'll
them
tell us they
that.
do,
Some-
right? So anyway, and then the other thing I think we got coming up is on the 21st we'll be kicking off Operation Stuff the Bus,
Very good.
and we'll be out at the Walmart in Silver Springs Boulevard. And I think when we started there were about 800 homeless school children, and there's over 2,000 now. So it gives you an idea that our economy probably ain't doing exactly as good as it
you're
could.
right. It was about 7, because Lamar
700-800,
yeah,
when you guys
800,
started.
Yeah.
It's
Even,
over
even predates Suzanne McGuire.
Yep.
Get the late Julie, or Judy was, get her
Judy
last
Maglio
name.
was,
Maglio. Yeah,
was
thank
doing
you.
that. So, yep. So we'll be kicking
A long
off
time
and
ago.
it's-
That's been a successful program, thanks not just to the people at the school board, but all you guys and all you volunteers that go out there and help them. That's and the folks who contribute. I mean, that's been a real
without the
successful
people that bring
program.
all that stuff in. It's a win-win for the stores.
It's a
because
win-win for mainly the kids.
Yeah,
mainly
but
the
it's a
children,
win-win
but-
for the kids because without that support, and that goes on, the need goes on year-round. So Suzanne does a great job interfacing
She
with
does.
the veterans community, and started out as that kind of project, like you said, between the Military Officers Association, and it's branched out so that we provide some guidance but the other veterans are stepping up too and bring out and support those sites.
Okay.
And
You got
Suzanne does a heck of a
You got a
job.
phone call, so I don't like to leave anybody on the line too long, but I want to kind of move along for Bernie's sake here this morning.
Good
We're gonna leave
morning.
some time for Bernie. huh?
You're on the air. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Hey, how you doing?
All right. Just had a question for Mr. DeCastro.
Okay.
There are those of us, the real nut jobs. We believe the federal government is out of control and is seeking to control all the police forces in the United States and bring them under like federal headship, including, like Ocala Police Department. Well, this is definitely true with all of the sheriff's departments around the country. So I want to know what Mr. DeCastro is going to do to prevent the federal takeover of the Marion County Sheriff's Department.
Okay. Go ahead, Bernie.
Thank you. The federalization of law enforcement in this country has been going on for decades, and it's increasingly getting worse and worse, and especially since 9/11, because then we had the impetus. We came out with the Patriot Act, the so-called Patriot Act, which eviscerated our Fourth Amendment rights, and so I think it was Benjamin Franklin that said those who would give up essential liberty for a little temporary safety deserve neither safety nor liberty. And so what we've done under the guise of public safety is we've come in, and then the federal government has given law enforcement offices, especially the sheriff's departments, lots of money, lots of toys, and then of course they compromise their oath by doing that, and then they're now obligated to the federal government rather than the people who elected them as sheriffs. So what would I do? I would first of all stop taking federal dollars immediately, and we would operate on whatever money that would come out of the county, because you can't compromise your oath. And I just got back from a big conference in Las Vegas, over 100 sheriffs from all over America, and it was unbelievable, the stuff that's going on. These guys are actually having to stand up and resist. I mean, one guy was even threatened. Sheriff Tony DeMayo from Nye County, Nevada, was threatened by the Bureau of Land Management that they would bring in their SWAT team. And you know what he told them? He said, "Bring it on, big boys. You bring yours, I'll bring mine. We'll see what happens." So we're starting to see a rise and an increase in this all over America now, and it's frightening, and it should be of concern to every American citizen. Thank you for your question.
Good question. Before we go into all that, though, let me let Sergeant Curley here kind of do his thing, and then right after the break, we'll turn it over to you, Bernie, and you can answer all those questions. We got a few for you, too.
I was just really getting interested in what he was talking about.
But I want you, I
would like to announce, first of all, that there's a meeting of the Vicksburg Post 719 tonight at 7 p.m. at the Mount Moriah Missionary Baptist Church Annex, and the Ladies Auxiliary starts at 5 p.m. In that same spot, and it's imperative that all the members will try to get there and try to be there so that they can start the meeting on time, and because we are making plans. Because on the 19th, on the 19th, yes, on the 19th of this month, the Chamber of Commerce, along with Honda of Ocala, is making a special presentation, and they're gonna put on the special presentation for the Post and that fundraising activity that we've been involved in. The community is getting behind us. After the special presentation of $2,000 from the SunTrust Bank 3, 4 days ago. They sent us a $2,000 check, and they're behind us all the way for this community center that we're proposing to build. And now the Honda of Ocala is getting behind us, as well as the Chamber of Commerce and the Honda of Ocala is putting on a special presentation for us on the 19th. So we need to get there, and we need to start getting ourselves together so that we can be there and go ahead on and show up and show out for this particular Chamber of Commerce presentation. So all the members of VFW Post 7193, as well as the ladies auditor, need to get to this meeting, and so that we can all get together and find out what we got to do and find out what time we got to be there and all of that. So please be there on tonight at 7 for the men and 5 for the women. That's all I have to say.
Okay, good. Listen, Larry, why don't you go ahead and take a break. We'll come back. I'll do a couple of quick commercials, and then we'll turn it over to Bernie.
All right, we'll take a little break and be right back.
On the next Voice of Ocala, we're live from Mark's Prime Steakhouse on Cindy's front porch. We'll welcome in Lori Martin Gregory as she gives us her healthy living segment. And Barry Eisman of Eisman Equine, he's going to talk about the recent sale of I'll Have Another. It was bought for $11,000, recently sold for $10 million. We'll talk to him about horse sales and what it means. All that plus sports on the next Voice of Ocala on 1370 AM, 96.7 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
Plumbing. I see. Ooh, we can try to fix that. I'll send someone right over. How's the third Wednesday of next month sound? Say between the hours of 8 a.m. and 8 p.m.? Would that be fine? Of course it will. Now I'll just need your credit card information.
Does that sound all too familiar? Well, next time, call Mike Scott Plumbing. If water runs through it, we do it. We schedule around your time, not ours. And we have straight time, anytime, all the time. That means we're on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we don't charge extra for nights, weekends, or holidays. We install traditional and tankless water heaters, repipes, drain repair, septic service and installation, irrigation systems, new construction, remodels, bathrooms, kitchens, even gas line installation and service. And we've been doing it all for over 25 years. So call today, 237-2888. That's 237-2888. And remember, if water runs through it, we do it. Mike Scott Plumbing.
Hey, Larry, nice haircut.
Oh, thanks, Robin. Looks like you had something different done, too.
Yes, I did. Thanks for noticing. I went to Lupe at Merle Norman on the Boulevard for a fresh cut, some summer highlights, and a facial.
No kidding. That's who I go to. I didn't know she did all that.
She does coloring, waxing, styling, updos, microderms, and she does it all for prices that won't break the bank.
Sounds like you can take the whole family there.
As a matter of fact, I do.
Hi, this is Lupe. Let me be your personal stylist. To set up your appointment, call me today, 426-1229.
If one simple word gets your attention, then I have an event to tell you about. That word is wedding. Got your attention? Good. The event is My Wedding Day Expo. Check it out at myweddingdayexpo.com. It's from noon till 4 this Sunday at the Pioneer Garden Club of Ocala. It's only $5, and that is a donation to Kids Central. Wedding professionals will help make your wedding plans easy. For more information, call 352-671-9292.
Earl Arnett has proudly served our country and community. A veteran of the U.S. Army, Earl Arnett is involved in his church and our community. Earl Arnett is a successful, conservative businessman with a plan. Earl Arnett is a devoted husband and father and is the best candidate for Marion County. How do I know? Because I'm Sheila Arnett, and I've been married to my Earl honey for over 20 years, and I know he is the right man for the job.
Political advertisement paid for and approved by Earl Arnett, Republican for Marion County Commission, District 5.
Life's journey has many ups and downs, but you can take comfort in the knowledge that Robert's Funeral Home is here to serve you and your family with loving care and dignity. The Roberts family has been providing their caring services since 1898 and offer traditional, custom, cremation, and veteran services. Pre-made arrangements are also available. Roberts Funeral Homes. Great funeral homes serve great people.
Don't get caught without your daily source of senior deals. Pick up your copy of the Senior Voice newspaper. It's your source for schedule and events tailored to seniors, with information you need, like a list of free events in the area. We even have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company to you that fits your needs, and all we ask in return is that you tell them where you heard about them. For more information, call Tom's Picks, 352-804-1223. and pick up your copy of The Senior's Voice at most any business up and down the 200 corridor.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
It's summertime and the deals are heating up during the summer sales event going on now at Ford Lincoln of Ocala and Bellevue. Drive a new 2012 Ford Focus SE, get up to $3,300 in total savings. How about a 2012 Ford Fusion or Escape with 0% APR for 60 months plus $2,500 in bonus cash or $4,000 in total savings. Go bold with a 2012 Ford Edge and get up to $4,500 cash back. Nothing says summer like a new 2012 Ford Mustang V6. Don't miss out on the summer sales event going on now at Ford Lincoln of Ocala and Bellevue. Shop 24/7 at FordofOcala.com.
There ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
All right, it is 9:30. Well, let's return to Hank Whittier in Veterans News. Hank?
Okay, guys, thank you. Thanks for coming back. We appreciate it. Listen, let me tell you about Ford Lincoln of Ocala. They've been around for a long time, too, and been with us almost a year now, plus they're about due to sign up again. So if Steve Halosi's listening, come on, Steve, sign that contract, buddy. You know, stay on the air a little bit longer, right? Like Larry, I think it's about a year, hasn't it been?
I think so, yeah.
Anyway, they're good people, and they do a lot of good things. Mainly, they sell good products out there. Ford Lincolns are, Curly and I certainly are Ford people. We like them, and you drive a Mercury Dawn, right?
Yeah, Grand Marquis.
Yeah, Grand Marquis and all that stuff.
Outstanding car.
But anyway, they make good products. They're good people. They'll take care of you. Great service department, and as I told you before, Steve Halosi and a lot of his people are really community-oriented folks. So they helped us out with some fundraisers, and they help a lot of people in the community. So if you're in the market for a new or used car or truck, go out there and take a look. They're good people. Roberts Funeral Home and Cemetery, same thing. You know, good people. Been around over 115, 16 years, and take good care of this community, good care of you when you need them. And you want to deal with people with some integrity when that time comes. You don't want to be dealing with these fly-by-nighters who, I will tell you, a lot of unfortunately people do, and then they regret it if they're having their loved ones taken care of that way. So, you know, get with Roberts Funeral Home Cemeteries, get some advice out of them, go talk to them, do a little pre-planning, and that's a gift to your family that you can do for yourself and them. Okay, listen, guys, we have Bernie DeCastro on. Bernie is a candidate for Marion County Sheriff. I've known Bernie, I don't know, Bernie since high school days, I think, probably. I don't know. Yeah, 10 years. It's been a whole 10 years now.
It's been a while, hey.
And Bernie, who's
counting, right?
Yeah, who's counting? Listen, but before we get into all the other stuff, and I know you want to talk about some issues, particularly kind of an overreach of federal government, which we're all concerned about. A lot of us are. Let me thank you. About a year ago, you had a fundraiser and an activity, and didn't use all the money, and you made sure we got some of that. And I really appreciate that, and I know your concern for veterans has been there. So, you know, tell you on the radio and you folks out there that, you know, Bernie's been good to us, and we do appreciate it. So that's just a personal thing between you and
Hank,
I.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, listen, short time. Tell us what you're about. And
well, Hank, the reason I'm running for sheriff, as everyone knows, we've had 3 debates so far, and I bring this out all my debates, is that I wasn't even planning on running. I'd run for a couple of other offices and was not planning on running for this, but then as I listened to the candidates, and they knew what my heartfelt concerns were, federal overreach, and this is something I've been studying for a couple of years. And I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear anybody saying that they were as concerned about that. And they were talking more about the local issues, which are great. I mean, public safety is at the top, but really the main role of a sheriff is to keep the citizens of his county free, to abide by his his oath to keep the people free, and then public safety comes under that. Because if you don't have freedom and liberty, then what good is public safety? And so on my brochures, my theme for my campaign is resisting tyranny, preserving liberty, and maintaining public safety. So that's why I got in the race, because I believe, like Sheriff Richard Mack, who defeated the Brady Bill single-handedly in 1994, the sheriffs of America were told, over 3,100 of them were told that they were going to have to start being the lackeys of the federal government, doing all the background checks for the guns, and to make matters worse, they were going to have to do it on their own dime, unfunded mandate, and then to add insult to injury, if they didn't do it, they didn't comply, they would be thrown in jail. And Sheriff Mack was the only sheriff in America that stood up, and that's a constitutional liberty sheriff, not an establishment sheriff, and that's what I'm running as, a constitutional liberty sheriff in the mold of Sheriff Richard Mack. And 3 years later, the U.S. Supreme Court handed down a decision. After he took on the Brady bill, 6 other sheriffs signed on to the bill. 7 sheriffs out of over 3,100, even though they were being threatened with jail time for not complying with a federal, a totally unconstitutional federal bill because it violates the 10th Amendment. The federal government cannot make the state government workers do their work for them. And so, anyway, that's why I'm in a race.
Okay. Larry, you want to mention that telephone number again? Folks want to talk to you.
It is 622-962, and you do have somebody waiting.
Okay.
Let's go to the phone. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. DeCastro.
Good morning.
I'm scared, too, about how much control they have over us little people. Ha-ha. I understand Congress and the President signed a law allowing the military to arrest civilians with no due process of law. Can that really be true?
Well, unfortunately, it is. It was called the National Defense Authorization Act, and it was signed into law on New Year's Eve, 2011, and which gives the president, whoever it may be, the right to kidnap any U.S. citizen, anytime, anywhere, and hold them indefinitely with no due process of law. So it's like I said before, we are losing all of our constitutional rights. I mean, that right there violates the Fifth Amendment clause, to due process clause in the Fifth Amendment. The Fifth Amendment, Sixth Amendment, right to a speedy trial, you don't even get a trial on this situation. And then now, July 27th, the United Nations is holding a vote called the ATT, the Arms Trade Treaty. And they're talking about, which will, eventually what it'll do is it'll impose a limitation on U.S. citizens. I mean, where's the U.S. sovereignty in all this? Since when does the United Nations get to tell America what it's going to do, and America's what they're going to do? And I mean, it's just getting worse and worse. In Elkhart, Indiana, they're telling the Amish farmers they can't sell raw milk. In Northern California and Southern Oregon, they're telling the Forestry Division is coming there and just grabbing large tracts of land without even telling the sheriff they're there. And then when the sheriff finds out what they've done, they tell the sheriff, you can't even go on the land. And so now you've got all the sheriffs up there in that northwestern region up in arms. There's a group of them. They're fighting the federal government. And this is going on all over America, and most Americans are oblivious to it.
All right, looks like you have another call.
Another call?
On the other line. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Mr. DeCastro.
Good morning.
When you give up all of those federal funds, how do you propose to make up those funds, number one? Number two is when those funds are no longer available, are you going to take those inmates in the jail home with you? Number three, tell us about your extensive law enforcement background. Have a good day.
All right.
Okay, good questions. We were just talking about the first one here, Mr. Curley and myself, and I was telling him, you know, I probably just like you, I live by a budget. I have a budget in my home, and you know, when I see a nice toy I want, I have to go look in the budget to see if the money's there. So it's the same way with any agency, law enforcement, whatever. We have to live within our budget, and once they take that money, you are compromised. Once you take the money, then now you are beholden to the federal government. So I don't know about you, but I want the sheriff's office to be beholden to the people who voted the sheriff in, not to the federal government. As far as the county jail, that wouldn't have any effect with the county jail, but I personally think that we need to revisit the people that we're putting in the jail. We definitely want to put the people in there that are dangerous and they're a threat to the community. But sometimes I think we're putting people in jail that I really question whether they need to be in there or not. I think that there are programs that are proven more effective and more cost effective, and I'd be looking to at that whole concept of the county jail. And as far as law enforcement background, I have the same amount of law enforcement background as Sheriff Dean did, none. So it's good, and it's not a necessary prerequisite, but experience is good, and I'm not denigrating experience. All I'm saying is it's not absolutely necessary. What's really necessary is leadership, and I have that. Thank you.
Okay. Right, another one?
Nope.
Oh, okay. An actual break, guys. You know. Yeah, okay.
If you'd like to call, though, the number is 622-9622 if you'd like to ask a question or make a comment.
Yeah, and Bernie, you're running a halfway house now. That's you deal with this sort of stuff every day.
Yes.
And why don't you tell a little bit about what you're doing now,
Okay.
sort of your background a little bit.
Okay. Right now I run a 132-bed work release center under contract with the Florida Department of Corrections. And what we do is we find these men work. These are men that have got about 6 to 12 months left on their sentence. They're not violent offenders, no sex offenders. They're basically low-level, nonviolent substance abusers for the most part. We've been doing this for 7 years now, and the employers in this community that hire our men, they love us because the men are dependable, they're hard workers, and not only that, they get a $2,400 tax credit at the end of the year for every man that they work for 400 hours or more. And it reduces recidivism. It keeps the public safe. So it's a win-win-win. Everybody wins on this deal. And the reason I got into this was because the only law enforcement criminal law experience I have besides that is on the wrong side of the fence. Most people in Marion County know, since I've been living here since 1984, that I have a checkered past. I've served time in prison for drug-related crimes. My last crime was for an armed robbery that I committed in 1976, and I ended up getting a life and 30-year sentence. Best thing that ever happened to me. 8 years into that sentence, I found the Lord, and you talk about jailhouse religion. Well, you could test my life by the results. I've been out here for 24 years. I've earned the respect of 2 governors, Governor Lawton Childs, Governor Jeb Bush. I've earned the respect of many people in law enforcement. Don Moreland was a personal friend of mine, still is. Clergy, business people throughout the state. And now I'm giving back to the community. And in the last 7 years since we've opened this work release center, we've probably pumped about $20–25 million into the community, created hundreds of jobs. So, you be the judge.
Mm-hmm. So I bet you're not coming from a vacuum. And if anybody proved that you don't need to be a law enforcement officer, I think Ed Dean did. He's done a pretty good job overall, yeah. I say. And I was one of those folks that said, well, this guy doesn't have the right background, but I can eat my words now because I think he did a good job, yeah. Particularly the circumstances he came in under.
Right.
So, this position's about leadership and it's about administrative talents and discipline. It's not to say that having law enforcement is a hindrance, but it's certainly not the most important thing.
Right.
I don't think. I mean, you may differ with me.
Looks like you have another phone call.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good morning. You're on the air.
Just to follow up, believe it or not, as far as people being incarcerated, I think, certainly you can't question Mr. DeCastro's involvement in the arena in which he works. The other thing is this. There's no doubt in my mind, but I don't think the majority of people are going to feel the way that he and I do, that there are a lot of people in jail that probably should not be in jail for 2 reasons. One, but actually more than 2 reasons. One is because of social economic status. The other is there are a lot of people in jail that are actually mentally ill. And because society doesn't want to spend money to rehabilitate those people or to get them the services they need, they're going to, they'll continue to do that. My question to him, again, is how would he convince the majority of the public where where you get your dollars from, that approach is the correct approach and the more productive approach and the more physically feasible approach to take? I may sound hard with some of my questions, but yeah, certainly Ed Dean is a good one of the best sheriffs we've ever had. But he also was a good lawyer too. Still is a good lawyer, really. But anyway, those are some of my concerns that I had, because while some of your methods, I don't agree with, but some of the things that you did mention, certainly you have the background and to attest to whether or not those things are effective. And I'll hang up and let you address those issues.
Well, I would like to. I appreciate your comments too. By the way, thank you. I appreciate you calling back and your second comments and your first. I would like to say, and I'm glad I brought this with me. I was at a meeting in Orlando yesterday, hosted by the Florida Alcohol and Drug Abuse Association, and they also deal with mental health issues and co-occurring disorders. And there's an interesting statistic here. The public support, this is put on by Florida Smart Justice Alliance, and the partnerships they have are like with the Florida Chamber of Commerce, the American Probation Parole Association, the Associated Industries of Florida, James Madison Institute, and on and on. So there's a lot of support for this type of, for years it was lock them up, throw away the key, tough on crime, tough on crime. Well, you got to be tough on crime, but you also have to be smart on crime. And now that we're in this economic downturn, you especially have to be smart when it comes to the fiscal issues. Well, listen to this right here. It said they did a poll, and it said every person convicted of a minor nonviolent crime should go to prison for the crime they committed. 17% said strongly agree, somewhat agree was 15%, and not sure was 8%. So that's a total of 40%. Somewhat disagree was 28%, and strongly disagree was 32%. So there you see a shift in the public sector for this idea of lock everybody up. And then the other question was support major changes to send fewer nonviolent offenders into prison and instead use cheaper, more effective forms of punishment. Somewhat opposed was 4%, strongly opposed was 6%, not sure was 6%, strongly support 60%, and somewhat support 24%. That's huge. So there's a big shift going on in the public now in terms of how we deal with crime, because they understand and realize there's a huge cost associated with it, not just in terms of public people being hurt, but financially, we're the ones that are picking up the tab, the taxpayers. So thank you very much for those great questions.
You have another phone call?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, and those procedures that have been in place all along have not found to be help at all in reducing crime. But I want to thank Mr. DeCastro from the bottom of my heart. He is one of the most incredibly educated, informed men I have met in the longest time. He has been informed a very long time about situations that most Americans didn't even know about, including Agenda 21, the incredible overreach of this government, which is dangerous beyond belief. People who know me have known I've called in for a long time saying that I am personally scared to death of the dangerous situation we are in. I thank Mr. DeCastro so much for viewing the Constitution as just the end-all and be-all, for his bravery, for his saying that he will not take federal money, he will get away from the establishment procedures in place, including those red light cameras, which has not been shown to demonstrate any increase in public safety. It's all there for viewing us. Mr. DeCastro has known for a very long time about the drones that are put up there. And in North Dakota, it was demonstrated that the first man arrested was a farmer over some cows. This is how those are being used. Mr. DeCastro, I'd like for you to please continue telling us what you will do. You are incredibly informed, and I appreciate also that you are willing, you have stated in writing, you are going to give back half of that $140,000 salary when elected to for a fund for needy and wounded in the line of duty, law enforcement, and military personnel, and to develop inmate programs aimed at reducing recidivism, because the situation now with the jails is basically just sucking the money from us, and you know how to deal with budgets and use money in the best way. I thank you.
Thank you.
please.
Thank you very much. Listen, the check's in the mail, honey, okay?
Was that your mother, by the chance? No?
It's my ex-wife.
Yeah, obviously, she's a fan, but
well, thank you.
Before you take that next phone call, I was out at the jail, I'm on the advisory group this year, so I was out at the jail Tuesday. 1,641 inmates.
Oh, my
1,641
God.
is what you have housed out at the Marion County Jail. Let me tell you, it's a lot of people out there. Whether you believe in locking them up and tossing away the key, or you believe in other programs, that's costing us a lot of money.
Sure is.
So that's the reason behind drug court. They have a drug court now that is a diversion program, and that's really the reason behind the veterans court that we've started.
Good.
So hopefully that you can take some of those people and divert them someplace else.
Absolutely.
And not better for them, hopefully better for the recidivism. But in addition to that, save the taxpayers some dollars out here, which is critical.
Absolutely.
You got another phone call, Bernie. You're getting a lot of phone calls. That's a good sign.
Good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Mr. DeCastro.
Good morning, sir.
Let me explain. What are you going to do if you're a sheriff about the sheriffs that are pretty much morbidly obese? I mean, are you going to get them on a fitness program? Because that's really costing the taxpayers a lot of money, because obviously they're not in good health, and it's going to bring health issues later if they decide to retire. And that'll be part of the picture you have to pay for these people who did not take care of themselves and still serve in the line of duty.
You want to get them in shape, huh?
You've been reading my mail?
Huh?
No, I'm just kidding you. No, it's a good point there, and I think that I certainly would be the first one in line to get into a fitness program. And no, our deputies absolutely, especially the guys that are out on the street, the ones that are on the front line, they definitely need to be in shape. So I don't know right now. I don't know the condition. It sounds like you might have some inside knowledge on that. But as sheriff,
well, I've just seen them. I mean, some of them they make a stay for marshmallow man look like an anorexic person. I mean, I'm serious. These guys are just downright it's plural. Some of these guys are former military men. You can't be in that shape in the military.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
Why would you do it in a job like that?
Well, the military now, as you know, has got a lot stricter about getting people in shape, the waistline, how much body fat you can. And, we're asking a lot of these people to kind of do the same thing. So you're making a good point, because it does increase the cost of health insurance and all the other stuff. Plus, just from an appearance point of view, I sometimes question whether or not someone could really do the job. But that's a good point, and Bernie is going to get on the treadmill this afternoon, aren't you, Bernie?
That's right. I'm leaving right here, right? Going right to the gym, man.
And you have another phone call. Good morning. You're on the air.
Morning. I want to know how much federal money was sent to the Marion County Sheriff's Office, and what was it used for?
That's a good question. It was the last 5 years, 2007 to 2011, was $10.6 million.
That's supposed to be public knowledge, correct, Bernie? That we should be able to know where this money is going.
Well, I would think so, and that's why I've been trying to get the information. But so far, I haven't been successful. And you bring up another good point. There is that the money here we are in America, we're $16 trillion in debt. The federal government spending all this money every time on all kinds of programs, and I mean, there's got to be a stop to it somewhere. We've got to, on the local level, we've got to say, hey, keep the money. Don't give us the money. We don't want it. We can do fine with the money that we get from our own community, and we can live within our own budget. We have all got to start living within our own budget, or what's going to happen? I mean, my children and my grandchildren are going to be, I'll be dead and gone, and they'll be carrying the burden of this debt that we're leaving on them. It's criminal what's happening to our children and grandchildren, our posterity. And so it's got to stop somewhere, and I think it's got to stop now.
Another one?
No.
Great. Okay. All right. You actually have a breathing point here. Yeah. Yeah. In addition to, you're basically going to say no to federal dollars.
Yes.
But are there cost-saving measures that we can do with local dollars besides the jail? Now, we'll leave the jail because we kind of in a general agreement about the jail, what needs to happen out there. Where else would you see some opportunities to save?
Well, this is another area that I've been trying to get some information from, Hank. Are you familiar with the Governor Sterling Award?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've done a little research into that, and it turns out that this was something that was started by Governor Lawton Childs and a good friend of his they were in the Navy together named John Pierna, and this started back in I think 1992, and so The Sheriff's Department, Marion County Sheriff's Office, is the only sheriff's office in the state of Florida that has applied to get the Sterling Award, and they were awarded it in 2008. And every 3 years, you get it for 3 years, and if you want it again, you have to reapply. And it's a very costly award to get, because what happens is you have to tie up unbelievable amount of manpower. All your majors, your captains, your lieutenants, they all have to be focused on is quality management. And so what they have to do is they have to spend all this inordinate time getting all these facts, making these PowerPoint presentations, time that could be better spent and could probably be used, take some of that those resources, and instead of spending it on that, why don't you give the deputies a raise? These guys are making $28.5. It's one of the lowest rates in Florida, and they deserve a raise. And so you can take the resources, reallocate those resources. The two guys that I'm running against are crowing about the Sterling Award. Big deal. I mean, why is no other sheriff in Florida concerned about the Sterling Award? Because it doesn't mean anything. They're not competing against each other. It's just, it's just like accolades. It's like a thing you hang on your wall. And so that's one area, Hank, that I would definitely cut that. We would not be doing that anymore.
Hey, Bernie, we got about 60 seconds, so go ahead and just sum up your campaign, your candidacy, and then we're going to have to move on after that.
Okay. Again, my name is Bernie DeCastro, running for Sheriff of Marion County. I'm running on the Constitution Party ticket, which means that I will not be in the primary. So you'll go to the primary and you won't see my name, but that doesn't mean that I'm not running. It means that you'll see me in November running against whoever does win, whether it's Dan Kuhn or Chris Blair. Whoever wins the primary, I will run against them. So hold on, I'm coming, okay? And we need help. We need volunteers. We need places to put our signs up. We need money. So if you want, my number is 352-390-0113, 390-0113, or you can go to my website. Just Google Bernie DeCastro for Sheriff, and it'll take you right to my website. But Hank, thank you very much for this great opportunity. Thanks for the good work that you and Vets for helping vets are doing. I appreciate all you guys.
Well,
God bless you.
We appreciate you, Bernie. Thanks, guys, for listening in. We got to move on. Again, thank you for your service, and always, God bless America, everybody. Thanks.